Hey, welcome to Sam Outside. I'm Sam and I'm outside. I'm doing something. Yeah, I'm not one of those guys that that can that can sit still. And I'm quite active physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And I was reminded the other day about how I was handling a situation, and I found myself needing to explain doing something. And that reminded me of a podcast that I watched, and I actually watched it some time ago, and it was in that doing something, that sharing, that reminded me of where I got this metaphor. Um, Probably 10 years ago, I was watching a Jocko Willink podcast, the Jocko Willink Underground podcast, um, where he was going over this situation of doing something, because we all have those moments, times in our lives, situations where we feel stuck, and the first reaction is to just get up and look around, right? So imagine yourself, you're stuck, and the recommendation is do something, because when we're feeling stuck, we have these moments where, like, wow, we feel overwhelmed, we're just looking around us and like, well, I'm lost, right? Like, imagine yourself just waking up and you're in the middle of a forest. Okay. Huh. Well, this isn't good. I don't know where I am. I'm lost, right? Actually lost. So, what do I need? I need resources. I need to find my way out, right? So, when you can't see the sky, when you have no sense of bearing, when you have no sense of direction, do something. Move, all right? So, that's the first way of getting yourself out of that situation is action. Move, all right? So, here comes the next part. Well, I'm going to move. Let's start moving. Move downhill, all right? So, moving downhill using the terrain allows me to perhaps find a tributary, a little bit of flow. All right, that tributary, that creek, is going to lead me to a river. That you know, that river is going downhill. Eventually, the river may lead to a road, and that road or river might lead me to a town, right? And in that town, I can get resources. There you go. Do something. And that something, walk. And that's where I find myself needing to explain my action in a situation where, as a manager, I often get the staff that I support. They come to me. I'm not always their first option, right? They are capable people, and they try and navigate their own challenges. I'm often not the last resort, but I am a resource to them. Well, that's my job. I'm there to support. And sometimes it's quick. Hey, I need some balloons. I got it. Yeah. Balloons are coming tomorrow. Great. Quick, simple. Way you go. Glad I could help. Other times it's a situation where there needs to be a conversation. And, often we have radios. They call me. I'll come see you. Let's walk. And it's in those moments where my style of management changes slightly. I need to listen, right? I need to understand and appreciate the situation and how to best navigate that person through those resources. I can't solve the problem for them. It's their problem, but I can guide, right? So that's my job. I'm a guide. And I find myself doing this when I'm actually guiding as a certified forest therapy guide. Nature is the healer, but I can guide through a series of invitations to help the healing, right? To help solve the problem and to give them some perspective. So when I'm having this interaction with the staff nurse, let's go for a walk. And oddly enough, when someone is sharing and they're walking, this is them. So they're talking and their head is down and they're looking at their feet. And that's not me. When I'm walking, this is me. Right? Looking around. What it looks like is I'm not listening. And eventually, the person who I'm walking with, where are we going? Nowhere. All right? We're moving. That's the point. Because what the act of walking does is, especially when you're walking in nature, which is where I happen to work, which is the advice I'm giving, when you're faced with challenges, walk, right? What it does, especially if you're walking in nature, it allows other things aspects of nature to enter your thought process. It's the sounds, it's the smells, it's the awareness of other living things unconsciously, but also the act of walking with your head up, looking around, stimulates lateral eye movement that engages both hemispheres, all right? Both hemispheres, not just the one that is strictly emotion, that is simply reaction. Right? Lateral eye movement engages both hemispheres, which means equal parts logic. So if I've got to have a courageous conversation, I invite someone to come for a walk. And while we're walking, I'm trying to make an effort to make eye contact, but I'm also looking around. I'll also find myself walking downhill, because when they ask, where are we going? And I say, nowhere, we're just walking. I am actually going someplace. I want to bring them toward water. And at the facility where I work, and many facilities that I've worked, there's usually a body of water nearby. And that's one of the philosophies I have when I'm guiding a guided forest therapy experiences, to spend time with water, because it connects differently, and we connect differently with water. It's calming, it's soothing, it's natural. So if I can walk and talk and make it to water while engaging both hemispheres of my brain and their brain, I am not going to process the information and the need and the challenge emotionally. I'm going to engage both hemispheres, engage a little bit of logic, calculation, that other side of my brain. What are they really asking, right? Well, obviously they feel challenged or stressed. So let's think about that and how I can immediately serve their needs. How can I share some of that? How can I take away some of that? And what are the appropriate responses given the time, energy, and resources that I have available? So that's how I help others who feel stuck. I walk. Take away the emotion and engage logic. Nature heals. Nature does promote mindfulness and being present, right? Being present. What am I actually dealing with? What am I actually smelling right now? Not what did, right? Because that's often where the stress came from. It was what did happen, and it's not, or what am I going to do? What do I need to do in the future? Being present, and nature helps provide that on many different levels. So that's my advice. If you're feeling stuck, do something. And once you've resigned yourself to that action, doing something, go for a walk. All right? We often hear that advice. Someone's upset, go for a walk. Walk it off. Hey, walk it off, right? Because the act of movement, right, enforces lateral eye movement, takes away the emotion. There's a little bit of breath work that happens, a little bit of mindfulness, and we can start to allow other parts of the thought process and the emotion and the physical, that all comes into play. So I'm not one of those people that stands still. I'm always doing something. And yeah, there are moments in nature where I do invite people to stop, sit, just be. We're still doing something, although we're not active in the sense of motion, locomotion. There is an expectation of activity in breath work. So a mindfulness moment, or even a sit spot, meeting with a tree, just sit and breathe. And once you've got that breath work down, listen. What's near you? What sounds are coming from far away? What sounds bring you joy, make you curious? And then smell. What smells are near you? What smells are coming on the wind? What smells do you enjoy? And then feel the air moving around you. Feel your own body in this moment. So it's action. It's processing. It's engaging both hemispheres. What am I actually doing? The logical side, or does it make me feel? The emotional side. Both hemispheres sharing. All right. We all have those moments. It could be an instant need. Oh, I don't know what to do. Maybe it's an email that I need to respond to. Can't find the right words. I could go this way, I could answer that way, I could go this way. Keep emotion out of it. It's a text, it's a conversation. Slow down, right? In this age of technology, there's an expectation of immediacy, right? Well, that could more likely lead to some emotion. So, take a walk, process it. Because of what the act of moving through nature, just the act of walking itself, even if you have to walk down the hall in your office, you are still going to engage. You're going to process both hemispheres, bringing in logic and emotion, and with time, allow a little bit of empathy, guided by a little bit of your own experience, to meet their needs, to meet your needs. So, if you're pinned down, if you're feeling stuck, if you wake up and find yourself in the forest, move. Go downhill. Find movement. Follow that. It'll lead to a greater sense of movement. Gathers more energy. Until you find a spot where others gather to access that energy. Talking about a river, talking about a road, that's where we built towns. Those ancient locations had purpose. They provided resources. And you can only get there through action. Even when there's inaction, use time, use your experience to guide and motivate. So, do something, right? Move. Okay? So, I hope that helps. It's not my original thought. I did have to remind myself, because I do get asked, where are we going? Nowhere. Let's move. We'll get somewhere. And we'll take it from there. So, I do have intention and purpose in some of my walks. I'm going to walk the dog. But I'm going to use that time for myself. And there's many times in my day where I just have to go for a walk. For myself, by myself, with myself. But other times I find myself inviting others to move, to walk. And there's an intention and a purpose behind it, and it proves results. So, that's my intention. Go outside. There's some action if you're simply being, but make it intentional, give it purpose, but you'll get more results if you can practice those same intentions while moving, because it offers more. All right. So, thank you very much for your time. Appreciate you. Go outside and do something. All right. We'll talk to you again soon. Thanks.